Hey everyone, it's July 21st, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share with serial killer Franklin Lynch, who murdered at least 3, but likely 13 elderly women in the 1980s. And that is him right up there. Born in the East Bay in California in 1955, Lynch had a troubled childhood that saw him start using drugs heavily as a teen. He ended up addicted to cocaine and spent time behind bars repeatedly for robbery in order to fuel his drug habit. Lynch's robberies eventually led to dozens of violent home invasions where he would break into the homes of elderly residents, tie them up with electrical cords, cover their heads with a blanket or bag, and leave with their valuables. There were dozens of victims who survived his attacks, but also more than a dozen murders dating back to 1980 were tied to his activities. He first gained attention for these attacks after spending 4 years in prison for robbery from 1983 to 1987, being released on parole in May of that year. A Redwood City resident was assaulted in her home shortly thereafter, which led to the assailant being dubbed the Day Stalker, since it was just 2 years after Night Stalker Richard Ramirez had been caught. You can scroll down on my video from February 29th for more about him. After his release, Lynch went on a murder spree, with older women guarding in their backyards being the primary target. The authorities issued a warning to the public about the attacks in June of that year. Catching Lynch was another matter, however, and he committed multiple murders in June, one in July, and one in August, at which time he was identified as a suspect, and the media published his photo as a person of interest in the case. But he remained active, killing again in September and twice in October. Groups of vigilantes began staking out elderly residents' homes, hoping to catch him in the act, and the city of San Leandro instituted a program to have volunteers install deadbolt locks for older members of the populace. His victims ranged in age from 74 to 89, and he was finally caught when his neighbors recognized him from news coverage around the crimes. When his home was searched, police found items belonging to 3 of his victims, and he was arrested and charged with their murders. Cold case investigators soon tied him to murders and assaults dating back to 1980 that matched his MO and were near where he was living at the time. His trial was delayed for years while Lynch remained behind bars and changed legal teams due to conflicts with his public defenders, even attempting to represent himself at one point. In 1991, he was convicted of 3 murders and 2 other assaults, being sentenced to death row in a hearing the following year. Lynch is believed to have killed 13 victims in all, and after decades of legal maneuvers, including appeals heard as recently as 2010, he remains behind bars and will likely eventually die of other causes due to the moratorium of executions in California. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so you can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Franklin Lynch, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.